Welcome back to the Figures and Flippy Shit podcast for the week of March the 20th's wrestling. Rampage isn't on until later tonight, so we won't be covering Rampage this week. We'll still watch it. If there's anything notable, we'll mention it next week. We probably won't go into a full depth breakdown with Rampage. So we're going to dive right in. We'll start with WWE. WWE has really hit a stride heading into Wrestlemania.
Yes.
And you can tell that their stories are better and the crowds are hotter because the pops are enormous these days.
Yes.
This is the most invested I've seen a WWE crowd in years. And it's really nice to see because it's nice to see all that talent finally get rewarded and not be looked at as just the product of a crazy old man.
Let's just start with the bloodline.
Okay, let's start with the bloodline.
Well, they're your babies. Go ahead.
So, Roman was on Raw this week.
Yeah, but the show started with the Usos and Sammy and KO. And they made it official of their match.
Yeah. Which did not sit well with Roman because Jay just decided to do that on his own.
And then you had Jimmy stand up to Roman also this week. Mm-hmm. I don't remember, he just said he didn't think that it was fair, basically. Mm-hmm. And that upset Roman.
Yeah, so Roman's family's crumbling around him.
Yes.
Which is funny because in the Cody promo, and let me just say right now, the Cody and Roman segments are money.
They are.
Every time.
Yeah.
They hit every time.
Sure.
But Cody told Roman, let's think about what happens when you wake up, and then you're going to lose the Usos, and then you're going to lose Solo, which Solo really took exception with.
Yes, because on Raw we had... So Roman Reigns had, at first he said, everybody get out, and he said they were going to let everybody go to, or he was going to have everybody go to their jet or something.
Yeah.
For all this extravagant food. Mm-hmm. But then he told Solo to stay, because Roman wanted him with him, so it was just, the Usos were sent off by themselves, because Roman doesn't trust them.
Yeah.
So then he had Solo out with him, and Cody Rhodes got under Solo's skin.
Yeah, which that actually we found out on SmackDown is going to be official. We're going to get Cody Rhodes versus Solo on Raw.
Yes.
Let's go. I'm ready. I love both those dudes. But he even went so far as to say, then when all of them leave, Paul Heyman becomes an advocate again, hinting at the fact that Paul Heyman would leave. And Roman didn't have a response to this. Roman just walked away.
And that's when Cody Rhodes got under Solo's skin. Mm-hmm. And Roman even demanded that Solo come down to him. Mm-hmm. And Solo did not listen because Cody Rhodes knew what to say to get under his skin.
His thing with Solo has been, you're not ready.
Yes.
And the crowd got behind that instantly. They chant, you're not ready at Solo every time Cody says it.
Yes. So it's interesting.
It is, because this is the first time that we've really seen somebody get to Solo. Solo's been so business and straight-faced. He never breaks when Sammy was doing stuff. He hardly ever talks. So it's cool that Cody has found that one place to get to. It's funny because Sammy tried to get there through the Usos, and Cody's trying to get there through Solo. And I think Cody's shots are hitting a lot more than Sammy's were.
Yeah.
Because Solo is the most trusted guy. Because Solo has never shown any tendencies to go against Roman.
Yes.
So whenever it gets to that point and Solo does turn on Roman, I think we're in for a big pop again.
Yeah. Yes.
Just everything with the Bloodline's fantastic. Cody has been inserted into this so well. Everybody said that Cody was going to get booed because he wasn't Sammy. I don't get that vibe at all. I think people are just as behind Cody as they've always been.
I agree, yeah. And I was on the anti-Cody Rhodes train just because I thought it was going to damage who I love, Sami Zayn.
Yes.
But he's good, yeah.
And this would be a good chance to transition over to them with the tag team match being made official. And I think they really did a good job of justifying why the tag match is happening and not Sammy and Roman.
Yes.
Because they're playing on the fact that KO and Sammy keep calling each other brothers. KO literally said, how about you and your brother against me and my brother?
Yeah.
And the Sammy and Kevin Owens stuff's so heartwarming.
It is. I kind of feel like it's a little too cheesy at times.
But it's going to break our hearts all that more when we know, eventually, Kevin Owens is going to turn. He always turns.
Right? He's so upset that Sami Zayn turned on him, but it's dude, I remember back when you guys first got on NXT, you guys were turning on each other. Wasn't Kevin Owens' first night on NXT when he turned on Sami Zayn?
His first takeover.
Okay.
Yeah, because he won the opening match because his nose was all bloody. Sammy won the title that night, and KO came out and celebrated with Sammy, and then powerbombed him into the apron.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you look at KO's track record, he doesn't have the best track record for
No, you do not have any reason to be bitching.
No, Chris Jericho would like a word.
But they did have a really fun shirt come out of it though. It says WrestleZania.
Yeah. On the front it says WrestleZania, on the back it says KO Mania.
Yeah. Which I like.
Yeah.
I would get that shirt.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Cause plus, like KO said, he does a KO Mania shirt every year, and I always look forward to seeing what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bloodline stuff continues to be top notch. I want to cover the other big story in WWE right now. I would say that you could call this maybe the second biggest story. It doesn't involve a title, but that's Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So on SmackDown this week, on Raw, Dominic continued to call out Rey. Rey continued to turn him down.
Yes.
So he just said, well, fine, I know Mom's going to be at SmackDown on Friday. I'll just ask her.
Such a child.
He is. So we get to SmackDown, and Rey's fighting LA Knight. LA Knight finally gets a win. I'll take it. It's against Rey Mysterio. It's dirty as hell, but I'll take it. LA Knight all day long. So Dominic is the reason for that win. And he comes out, and Rey tells him again, I'm not doing the match. Just stop. So Dominic goes over to his mom and starts talking to her, and then he screams in her face, and Rey Mysterio had all he could take.
Right.
And he comes walking around, and you could feel the energy in the building. Everybody's like, is he finally going to do it? Is he finally going to do it? And popped Dominic for yelling at his mom, and that crowd exploded.
They did.
They exploded.
Yes.
And I tell you what, that is a credit to two things. One, WWE's insistency on letting this story build. Look what happens when you build good stories, you get good reactions. And the second, I got to give all the credit in the world to Dominic Mysterio for his heel run that he's on right now.
Yeah.
If he wasn't as effective of a heel as he is, this would not be where it is.
Right.
So all the credit in the world to Dominic for reinventing himself, finding a new avenue to be successful. I'm really excited for this match. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of comeuppance, which is going to be good. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dominic still happened to win.
I would kind of prefer him to win.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's just me going back to I think the younger talent should always usually go over.
Yeah. But, I mean, professional wrestling is so funny that way. Like, the pop in the building was one of the loudest we've heard, and it's for a father punching his son in the face. The wrestling is so silly.
Yeah.
I love it. It brings me so much joy when it's done well.
Yeah.
But, so that's the story with Rey and Dominic. So that was really fun.
Yeah.
That felt very Sammy hitting Roman with the chair pop.
Yes.
It was pretty loud.
I agree.
So Lenny's back, of course.
And Lenny.
Yes. So that covers. I feel like that's WWE's top two stories right now. Would you agree with that? They feel like they're the most long built. At least.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So now we can go into the next title. The next title I want to talk about is the Intercontinental Championship. So we had a contract signing on SmackDown with Sheamus, Gunther, and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus started it, and they were kind of bickering back and forth.
I last week I was talking about they turned them so quickly, but this week I do feel like they
justified it.
Yeah, I still think they turned too quickly against each other, but they made it seem very personal.
Yeah, I'm behind it now.
Yeah.
But Gunther comes out.
Oh my gosh.
And Gunther gets right in Adam Pearce's face, and he's like, justify to me why this is happening.
And it's just like, dude, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You did it last week. There was like, what, a disqualification or something?
Yeah, because Imperium attacked both of them in their match.
What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. So Adam Pearce pretty much told him, he's like, sign the contract. So Gunther signed it. And then The Brutes
Butch was
were
staring
in the
him
ring.
down.
Yeah, Butch was staring him down.
And he was like, what?
Yeah, because he told Sheamus, and I love Gunther on the mic.
I do too.
He comes across as much of a threat on the mic as he does.
I didn't realize that
fighter.
on NXT, because he was on NXT UK, right?
Well, his confidence is a lot higher now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, those
That's
NXT
true.
promo classes have probably helped.
That's very true.
But it was great because he was looking at Drew. He said, I'm going to beat you. He looked at Sheamus. He said, I'm going to beat you. And he looked at Ridge. He said, if I have to, I'll beat you. And he looks at Butch. And Butch is just glaring at him. And if you know the history, it's wonderful because Butch had the NXT UK title for over 600 days until Gunther took him down.
As Pete Dunne.
Yes. And that match is excellent. Check it out.
They were such a good match.
Yeah. It was NXT TakeOver. It wasn't Cardiff because Cardiff, I think, was Tyler Bate and Gunther. Maybe. Check it out. Find it. NXT UK.
NXT UK
Walter
anything
versus
was great.
Pete Dunne. Yeah, their takeover shows were always great.
I thought their shows were even underrated too.
But anyway, he asked Butch what he's looking at, and Butch just jumps the table and just plows a forearm right into Gunther's face. Gunther shoves him off. Gunther picked up this table like it was a stack of papers and just flung it clear out of the ring. You thought it was going in the first row.
The green shirt guy in the front row thought it was going to go in the front row also.
Yeah.
You know, if you watch wrestling, the green shirt guy, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, if you watch WWE, you know who green shirt guy is.
Yes, you know who that is.
But I remember seeing a lot of threads of live comment. They were like, holy shit, Gunther with that table. Like, and he looks awesome when he throws it.
So angry.
Because he's just like, "Ugh!" And it carried over in the match because he just wrestled that match angry.
He did.
Like I saw one of the comments in the live thread, and I think I have to reiterate it. Butch fucked around and found out. Like, that's what happened there.
Yeah, but Butch put up a really good fight though too.
Dude, they put on a really fun little 4-star 10-minute match.
It was such a good match.
It was. Those two, I could watch those two wrestle.
They have
forever.
such good chemistry.
Yeah, they have Fight Forever vibes from me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we watched them at the house show, or at not the house show, as the dark match after SmackDown a couple weeks ago, and it was fun.
Yes.
The crowd wasn't as invested as I hoped they would be, but I mean, at the same time, it was after 10.
A lot of people were already leaving at that point.
Yeah, which I can't believe. That sucks. Why would you walk out on Gunther and Butch and Bianca and Bailey?
Why would you walk out early on a wrestling show to begin with? Because you paid money. It's not like wrestling shows are that cheap.
No, that's true.
I mean, I guess depending on where you sit, but we don't opt for the cheap seats.
No.
Because we like to be up and close where the action is.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to stay for every damn second.
yeah, for sure. Plus, we love live wrestling.
Yes.
There's nothing like it. It's like I tell everybody else. Like, I have no interest in NASCAR outside of playing the game once in a while. But going to a race like that live is a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah. And I would say the same thing about wrestling. If you're not into wrestling and you go to a live show that's hot enough, you'll at least have a good time. You may leave and still not give two shits. Yes. But you'll have fun while you're there.
Yeah.
But we kind of got off track there. But yeah, that's the IC title picture. I'm super excited for that triple threat. That's just going to be big men slapping man meat for probably 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. I saw where somebody said they should let Big E be on commentary for that match.
Oh my gosh.
I miss Big E so much. So much. U.S. title picture, there's not really much to talk about. Theory wrestled Montez Ford this week, and Theory's just kind of wrestling matches to kind of get built up for Cena. Cena is not on TV, so it's kind of a one-sided
the guy's in everything.
build.
Every commercial I hear, he's in it. Mm-hmm. Like, he's in a million shows, movies.
I think he's filming in Australia now.
Oh my gosh.
But Cena did a lot of work on the Raw that he was on a couple weeks ago. No, I don't want to take anything away from that.
Oh no, I wasn't trashing that. I was just saying, when would he have time?
Yeah, and I don't know necessarily that he does, but, I'm still invested. And we actually found out on SmackDown, that's the first match at Mania. That's going to open night 1, is Cena and Theory. And it's kind of fitting because they're literally going to do the national anthem, America the Beautiful.
Oh, gosh.
And then the U.S. title. Like,
with John Cena.
With John Cena with the American flag on his jorts.
Freaking jorts.
I am actually pretty excited for the Cena Theory match. I love, current Cena, where he just comes in, puts somebody over, looks like he's having fun, gives his love to the fans. I have a really good time when John Cena comes around these days.
I do too. I used to not like
him. And I was going to say, this is coming from somebody that really didn't care much for Cena.
But he doesn't take himself too seriously now,
No.
I feel like. And he's just there for a good time.
Yeah, and he pops up so rarely now. Like, I feel really fortunate that we got to see him live in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That
was fun.
Yeah, that was back in
when
Becky
Lynch
Lynch's
was
rise.
the man.
Yeah. Because they wrestled Andrade and Zelina, because I lost my mind because I loved Andrade too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the U.S. title picture. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Now let's look at
so we have
kind of the women's title picture, kinda.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Rhea Ripley's involved, so yeah.
But I feel like I feel like it was kind of the women's title picture plus like the women's tag team titles kind of got involved as well.
Yeah, it was kind of combined.
Because we had the match was Bayley versus Rhea Ripley, which that was a decent match.
Yeah.
I feel like I enjoy Bayley better when Damage Control isn't doing as much. Like
when she can just wrestle.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm all for, like, the heels getting helped out. Like, I love heels. But with her, it was like, she was barely doing anything. And they were... But...
I appreciate the fact, too, that Rhea had this match essentially in street clothes. Because, like, it's so predictable. Like, if somebody comes out
because Rhea started out with doing a promo. And she got whatted again, didn't she?
Yeah.
Stop with the damn what?
Yeah. Because it happened to Charlotte Flair, too, on Friday. I don't know why, but the... Rhea Ripley and Charlotte are getting whatted to death, and I don't know if it's because people aren't invested in this feud.
I don't know why. I'm pretty invested.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the best feud at WrestleMania, but
it's better than.
Do you think it's better than Bianca and Asuka?
I just really like Rhea Ripley, so like.
Yeah, and you like the Judgment Day, which Rhea's a part of.
I do, so I'm gonna be more invested.
Ex-Condom.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be more invested in it, but. But let's focus on this match though. But yeah, it was match against them. But then Becky Lynch and Lita and Trish Stratus come out, and I think Damage Control is already out there, right?
Yeah, they were out there with Bayley.
So like they come out, and Becky Lynch has the biggest bag of popcorn I've ever seen in my damn life.
It was like the size of her,
and she was just like eating it, walking down through there, and she was very. Just her and Seth Rollins both are very extravagant in their outfits, and I'm here for it.
I'm convinced that sometimes they swap outfits.
I mean, why not? We do it. I mean, hoodies, but...
yeah, let's clarify there a little bit.
Hoodies and t-shirts, but yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, Becky and Trish and Lita were out there, because of course they have that 6-man with Damage Control at WrestleMania, and I think that match will be fine. I think it'll be serviceable. Yeah. I'm not super pumped for it.
No.
But at the same time, I think it's a good way to get Becky Lynch a pretty high-profile match without having her have to be in the world title picture all the time.
Yeah.
But I do think that Rhea's SummerSlam feud should be Becky.
Yeah, because I think that Rhea Ripley should win against Charlotte.
Or maybe Rhea should face Bianca at SummerSlam. Like, have Bianca lose to Asuka, and then Bianca can chase the SmackDown title.
I don't know. I want Asuka to win.
Yeah, I do too. I think Bianca's been great. She's been a great champion, but I'm ready for somebody else.
Yeah. Yes. But we had this match. I mean, honestly, it wasn't like it wasn't anything like fantastic or amazing.
It was good. It was perfectly serviceable.
I just liked Becky's popcorn bag.
Yeah.
And then I do want to touch though on Charlotte Flair, because she did cut a promo on SmackDown.
Uninterrupted too. She got all the way through her promo.
Yes. And but there were so many whats, and she even said, she's like, why are you whatting me? This is important to me.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just hate the what chance.
Yeah.
If I could go back in time and make it to where Stone Cold never did that, I think it'd be a better day.
I think he would agree with you.
He said it. He said he regrets doing that.
Yeah.
So maybe we should all just move on from that.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, I think we should move on from the whats. No maybes.
No maybes.
Stand your ground.
No, I agree. I hate the what chant. I think it's a stupid way.
Especially whenever you're doing it because like if you're being an asshole because you can't understand the person. And I feel like that's what happens sometimes to some of the wrestlers. Well, the fans can't understand them if they're not from the U.S. of A. And I think sometimes they let them because of that.
Yeah, and I think the pauses and promos is where it seems to happen. Like, somebody will be like, at WrestleMania, you did... Like, make it flow more natural. Like, Becky Lynch is good at that, like, making it flow naturally. Cody Rhodes is good at making it flow naturally.
Yeah.
I think if those breaks go away, the what chance would go away. But at the same time, I know that's... The pausing promo is as old as wrestling itself.
It is. You got to pause for that dramatic effect.
Yeah. But I think it just comes down to fans can be assholes. I think that's all it comes down to. So yeah, that's pretty much the women's title picture right now. Bianca and Asuka had a match together. It was against Chelsea Green and... Oh, yeah. I don't even remember who it's really bad that I don't remember.
I forgot about the match, and I love Chelsea Green.
I know. But basically, the thing to take out of it's Asuka attacked Bianca after the match. Yeah. So, I mean, their feud's okay. I think Charlotte and Rhea's built a little bit better, but I do think that both women's title matches could have been built better. Yeah. But I think, we're still in Triple H's first full year of creative. After WrestleMania...
he had baller matches with the women in NXT, so I know he can do it.
Yeah, so let's see what happens between Mania 39 and 40 before we make any... determinations.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have Logan Paul's Impulsive TV. You can talk about that.
Listen. I know you don't like Logan Paul, but that dude was born to be a professional wrestler.
I will never admit on camera that I think he's good.
Didn't you just kind of admit it on camera?
I'm never going to admit it on camera.
Come on, and let's be real. Him and Seth Rollins could... I mean, there's a lot of really good matches lined up for Mania.
Seth Rollins could have a good match with, like, a watermelon, though.
A watermelon? Now I want to see that. I want to see him hit a stomp on a watermelon.
He could have a good match with anybody or anything, and it would, like, be interesting.
Yeah. But I think Logan Paul... I think he's really good at this. I think if he... if he never filmed The Dead Body and just decided to go and train to be a wrestler, I don't know. But I think if he decided to make wrestling a career and started earlier, I think he'd be possibly one of the best to do it.
If I didn't know he wasn't that great of a guy, I'd just find out later.
And it's crazy. We didn't know until, because we never really looked it up, he's only 28 years old.
I know.
He still could make a career out of this if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But he just has so much going on. But I like the fact that he played into he's like, I don't need to be here. I just like to do this. Like, and it was funny because like he was saying how the crowd didn't respect him, and then he would goad the crowd again. He's definitely a natural heel. I don't know what Vince was thinking trying to make him babyface in the beginning, because that dude just is natural heel.
Yeah.
He got one over on Seth Rollins again.
Which was funny because
he replayed the video over and over again of him knocking out Seth last week. It was really funny. At one point he put like a clown face over Rollins, but I also am pretty excited about this match because I think it'll be a good match. Yeah. And I'm always down for what Rollins is doing. And I just think Logan Paul impresses me. I don't think much of him as a person, but you can tell the work and the dedication that he's put into doing this because he's so good at it. And I have to respect that. Yeah. Especially, a lot of times celebrities come in and they're just there for, there for the paycheck, or they just pop up just to say they were there. But people like Bad Bunny and Logan Paul that put in the actual work, Pat McAfee too, it just makes it that much more fun when the celebrities do show up, when they're competent.
I just wish they get people that were more liked.
Oh, well.
They get Ronda Rousey, one of the Paul brothers.
Is Bad Bunny liked?
I don't know, honestly.
I don't know much about Bad Bunny. I know Bad Bunny is a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, honestly.
I don't either. But I know I've seen people say that, like, Bad Bunny being associated with WWE is huge for WWE. So that's Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul.
Edge called out Finn Balor's demon.
Yes.
Which is fun. It's great. But I love whenever the demon was like a surprise.
Yeah.
I don't like whenever you tell me it's happening. I want to be surprised by it happening. But either way, it's going to be awesome because it hasn't been around forever. But
and I hope
he can't lose again. The demon already lost to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. I hope we get a really creative demon too, like along the lines of where like the time that the demon popped out of the coffin, the Jack the Ripper demon was really cool.
I mean, it is WrestleMania, so
in Hollywood. So I mean, that would be a good chance to bring
they have
in
gone
a movie
all
monster.
out with fun movie. WWE's done really fun like commercials basically for WrestleMania, but it's like the wrestlers are like redoing Hollywood like movies and TV shows and stuff.
And it's funny because
it's interesting.
It's funny because Sami Zayn said on SmackDown, I think it was, he said something feels different about this WrestleMania, and I have to agree.
I agree too. I don't know what it is.
I get a sense of feeling of like,
I'm very excited for it.
I know.
And last year I did not care.
Yeah, last year ended up being fun though.
It was, but I know we debated if we were even going to watch it last year.
But this year it feels fun. The matches feel like at least they're justified to be there for the most part.
There's a story for basically everything going on right now in WWE.
Yeah, and a lot of them aren't stories that were just told yesterday.
No.
I mean, Brock and Omos, you could say that one.
But that's been going on it's been a couple months, hasn't it?
It's been about a month.
Talking about it?
It's been about a month.
Oh,
about a month.
Wow.
But that one doesn't really need all that much build because I don't know how much you can build with Omos and Lesnar. I mean, this week Omos squashed Mustafa Ali and that was the end of it.
Which, let's talk about that for a second.
You were very offended that Mustafa Ali was the sacrificial lamb.
Why Mustafa Ali? Like, he's so good. If you were going to have somebody be squashed, get somebody else.
But, I mean, at the same time, it does help to have Omos squash somebody that's known. That's going to help.
But why does it have to be somebody that Vince already shit on repeatedly? To the point that they were literally, like, free Ali stuff going around. I just feel like it wasn't the wisest choice. Mm-hmm. And just based on what's been happening before with him, I feel like you could have chosen somebody else.
Yeah, but I think if you would ask...
Like, I don't know, maybe... Dolph Ziggler, he loses everything.
Omos already beat Ziggler. That was a couple weeks ago.
Then there's a million people back. There's so many people backstage that he could.
But I'll tell you this: I bet if you ask Mustafa Ali about it, he'll tell you. But was I on TV?
For 5 seconds.
But was he on TV?
You were on TV for 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess if that makes you happy, that's fine. But I'd be pissed if it was me. But that's just me. Whatever then.
So what else do we have with WWE main roster? Ah, yes. This is one of my favorite parts of the show where we get to talk about Chad Gable. I love Chad Gable so much. Push him to the moon, please and thank you.
He'll just go up in a 5 seconds match against Omos. That's what he's going
for. No, don't you dare do that to Chad Gable.
What? That's what they do.
They gave Chad Gable a showcase match with Cody Rhodes. They can't do that to Chad Gable. They cannot do it to Chad Gable. I won't allow it. But it's no secret. I think Chad Gable is one of the most underappreciated wrestlers out there.
A lot of people do.
He's fantastic.
A lot of people think
he's so fantastic. But we're still telling the story of him and Otis kind of splitting. And it looked like Otis was going to be on his side because he came out for the match with him. Because Gable wrestled... Oh, who did Gable wrestle?
Was it Ricochet?
Yes, that's who it was. Because it's a preview of the 4-way men's match at Mania. The showcase tag match.
I mean, it was a good match. Ricochet and Chad Gable had a good match.
Yeah. I mean, shock surprise. You put 2 wrestlers in the ring that are really good and give them 12 minutes and they'll tear it up.
Right. And we had some story time. Like Maxine Dupree came out and
she took Otis away.
And that's when Chad Gable lost.
When Gable found Otis backstage, he had just got a manicure, which Otis called a handy cure. But as he comes out, he's like examining his hands. He's being real careful with his hands. Maxine came out and took away like he was a little child.
Yes.
And it was so sad because as Ricochet's getting ready to hit the shooting star press, Gable's just laying there. He's just like, Otis! Like, it's like, poor Gable. Poor Gable. After Otis leaves, let's push Gable. Let's make him U.S. champ, and let's just have him be a wrestling machine like Angle.
Yeah.
He's literally Kurt Angle 2.0. He's got the goofiness. He's got the skill. He's a big dork. He's hilarious. Just let him be that.
Right?
Yeah. Hell, let Angle come in and be his manager. How fun would that be?
I mean, they already messed up by not having him be his son.
I know. Talk about
it was like handed to them.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, yeah, let's go with the plot line or a story where Kurt Angle has this son. And they're like, man, who should it be? Chad Gable literally strolls by them, humming Kurt Angle's song.
Yeah.
And they're like, Jason Jordan.
No, it was probably Vince that went like, let's make a Jason Jordan pal. Yeah, we won't go back there. That was a missed opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
Especially because you could have ended it with having Gable retire Kurt Angle and it would have been fine.
Right.
But yeah, Chad Gable every week. Push, please, thank you.
Yes.
Is there anything else main roster?
I think we're good to go to NXT.
So yeah, main roster's cooking right now. Even you admitted, you were like, Raw has even been fun lately.
Yeah.
I'm just having a hell of a time. I'm just riding along in the little car to WrestleMania, having a good old time. So now let's talk about NXT. All right, so NXT this week. NXT is building to stand and deliver, and NXT's having a pretty fun little build too.
They are.
Yeah.
Yes.
I overall, I'll include AEW with this as well. I'm having so much fun watching wrestling
Wrestling
right
is
now.
very good right now.
Yeah.
It's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
It is. And we haven't even been watching Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor supposedly is fantastic as well.
And Impact is like...
Yeah. Oh, man. Did you see the news about Impact, though? Josh Alexander is the longest reigning... He's Ethan Page's old partner. Uh-huh. He's the longest reigning world champion in Impact, and he has to have surgery and vacate his title. That's how his title reign is ending.
Oh, no. That sucks.
So all the best to Josh Alexander for speedy recovery. What work that guy's put in with that world title. Like I said, we don't watch a lot of Impact, but I do follow some of the main stories through videos and stuff. So we send our best to Josh Alexander. It's a shame to have a hell of a run like that end that way.
Yes.
But then, that's wrestling. That happens.
Yes. Well, let's talk about Wesley and how he could pick his
Oh, you want to start with the North America title first? Well, yeah, because the world title picture's pretty set. It's Carmelo and Braun. Yeah. So, Wesley, go ahead.
This is more entertaining than Braun.
Okay. All right. I will agree with you. And this is coming from somebody that loves Carmelo Hayes. I'm sorry. Proceed.
Okay.
Proceed.
So, I don't even know what I was saying now.
You were talking about Wesley picking opponents.
Oh, so he picked 3 of his 4 opponents on NXT. Mm-hmm. He picked Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Dragunov.
Yeah.
And then he's going to have a, Battle Royal next week to determine the 4th.
Dude, do you know how excited I am?
They're not competing all at once, are they?
Yeah, it's a fatal 5-way at Stand and Deliver. That's why I'm like, that's why I'm like creepily excited.
I thought he was having like a match at a time.
No, it's everybody at once. Oh, and I am here for it could have stopped at those 4 and I would be perfectly satisfied.
Yeah.
And I wonder who the 5th one's going to be. It's going to be very interesting to see how that Battle Royal plays out. But yeah, I am stoked for that match. I think that match could be match of the night for Stand and Deliver.
Yes.
Because Wesley's really good too.
Yeah. Well, and then for the women, like the NXT Women's title, we still don't really know anything about what's going on with Roxanne Perez.
I saw an update that she was dealing with something like medical personal, but she's fine now, and they're just waiting to write her back into TV. So I wonder if she's going to be. Title? So I wonder if she's going to be in a ladder match.
Because oh dear Lord, my God, we have the neediest cat ever.
Yeah.
But in the ladder match so far, we have Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, and
Lyra Valkyria.
Yes.
Lyra with an R.
Okay. Anyway, and then. Stop judging how I write.
I wasn't.
It's
a good thing you take notes, or
I know. But anyway, they're all. Then we have the one remaining for who will be in the match.
Mm-hmm. And I think that match will be fun. It won't be North American Championship fun.
No.
But I'm always down for a multi-person ladder match.
And I thought it was kind of cool. I watched this thing that Mercedes Moné did. Mm-hmm. She was talking with Leva Bates, and she wanted to know who. I can't remember what the question was that Leva Bates said to her, but it was something like, who would you like to wrestle with from WWE or something like that. And Mercedes Moné actually said Zoe Stark. She said that she fascinates her. She thinks she's excellent. Or maybe he was ready for the main roster. I don't remember what the question was. But basically, Mercedes Moné specifically called out Zoe Stark in this interview.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Man, what a rub for Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
Good for her.
What's another match? Oh, and then we had for the NXT tag teams. The champs now is, what is it, Gallus?
The Gallus boys.
So, was it last week where they all got drunk? Or this week where they all got drunk? Or was that last week? No, because the triple threat match was just determined this week.
Yeah.
So, Gallus was at their bar, and then the Creed brothers show up, and then, I never remember their names, the Mafia Bros.
Tony D'Angelo and Stax.
Yes, they show up. The three end up like just getting drunk together, and then they decided, yeah, we'll have a triple threat match, stand and deliver. So that's happening.
That'll be fun too.
It will, yeah. It will be fun. What else happened on WWE or on NXT?
Well, let's talk about your beloved Chase U.
My beloved Chase U.
You love Chase U, don't you?
I think they're funny. I like when Andre Chase cusses, but that's about it.
Oh, okay. I just love how you refer to Thea Hill as all over the place.
She is, yeah.
But we are getting a match with them and Schism, so it's a mixed tag 4-on-4.
Yeah.
And Duke Hudson put up Chase University as collateral in the match.
And Schism got really excited, which I don't blame them. Like, Chase U's not going to win. I mean, I guess they do have Tyler Bates. Maybe they have a better chance.
And what's funny about this is part of what makes NXT so fun. This was born out of a segment that was organized like a school debate.
Yeah.
Like Schism had a bunch of followers.
Yeah.
And Chase U had all their students.
Yeah.
So
and Tyler Bates.
I love when NXT does this different stuff like this. I love to see every week what NXT is going to throw to the wall. And it's like the perfect ground for that.
Yeah.
So I love that this was born out of a freaking high school debate segment. And somehow Tyler Bate got roped in.
Right. He's just there to like calm Thea Hale, to get that beat under control.
Dude, what do you think the chances are that Tyler Bate turns on Chase U and joins Schism?
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to turn on Chase U. Somebody.
I've seen a lot of people say Duke Hudson.
I could see that. That's what they've been like.
That's kind of what's been teased.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's actually what's going to happen, because I feel like under Triple H, I'm not able to guess as easily. You know?
I mean, hell, it could be Thea Hale. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
It really could.
Yeah.
So the match is intriguing in itself because I want to see what happens.
Yes.
And since it's its stand to deliver, I feel like something momentous is going to happen.
Yeah.
Something that's going to be important. So I'm actually excited for Schism versus Chase U.
I know. I don't really like Schism.
I
don't really have an opinion on Schism yet. Like, I don't dislike them, but I don't love them. I don't really like...
I get the vibe that Schism is what they originally envisioned for the Judgment Day.
I feel bad even saying this because it's The Rock's daughter, but maybe switch her out. Yeah. I don't like her.
It's her that's not clicking for you?
Yeah, I like all the others. Joe Gacy's intimidating as hell. The long hair guy, I just think he's really beautiful. What's his name?
I can't remember. He used to be James Drake.
And then the guy and the other guy, I like him because I just think of people holding up their shoes.
Yeah, when he was Zach Gibson. He's Rip Fowler now, but when he used to be Zach Gibson, I loved Zach Gibson.
Right? Yeah. So it's just her that I can't get past. Like, her... Maybe work on promos a little bit more, like
something with her's just not clicking for you.
Yeah,
and I would agree with that. But she's also new; she's got to have time to grow. This is a good starting point for her.
Yeah,
everybody's got to start somewhere. But I do agree with you; she's definitely the part of the group that doesn't really click.
Yeah,
but I do think she serves as a pretty good enough foil for Thea Hale. Because Thea Hale's afraid of her.
Thea Hale's only won one match. Anybody would be a foil for her.
This is true. I won't deny it.
Yes.
I think the last big thing we need to talk about with NXT is Grayson Waller and Gargano.
They are going to have an unsanctioned match at Stand and Deliver.
If it's anything like Ciampa Gargano 1, we're in for a treat.
Yeah.
Because Ciampa Gargano 1 is great. It's probably the best match that those two had against each other.
And I am digging Johnny Gargano. This is the Johnny Gargano I like, this NXT Gargano. I like the fury, like the passion, not the goofiness.
Yeah, main roster Johnny is very goofy, which
I usually like goofy, but with Johnny Gargano, it's just not Johnny Gargano.
Which I get, which is funny because we've met Johnny Gargano, and I feel like what he is on Raw is closer to what he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I agree with you, and I think Grayson Waller. I think Grayson Waller is ready for the main roster after Mania. I really do.
I do too. Yeah.
I would love to see maybe around Survivor Series or maybe the Royal Rumble, I would love to see Grayson Waller versus Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
for the promos alone would be fun.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
Yes.
But like I said, I think the only thing we didn't cover in detail, the women's tag team championships in NXT, Kiana and Fallon, definitely, there's still that drama going on with Brooks Jensen. But it's kind of funny because where that felt like it was one of the main stories going, as we're getting closer to Stand and Deliver, I feel like it's tapering off a little bit. So we'll see where it goes. Somebody's going to turn on somebody.
Yeah, they're not meant to.
Yeah.
Wait, don't they have a match against Isla Dawn? And...
They do. I think Isla Dawn and Alba Fire are going to take the titles too.
Same.
And I don't even think the match is going to be particularly long.
I don't think so either.
I think it'll be 5 minutes, 6 minutes tops.
Yeah, just because there's so much... I don't know. Those two just don't really click. Which, I mean, that's good because that's the story they're telling.
Yeah,
so.
and Alba and Isla are like this. They're just a couple kooky witches out there.
Witches.
Yeah, witches would probably be better than what I said.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
I like the supernatural added into wrestling. I don't know why. I just love supernatural things. So.
Yeah. But the only thing we didn't go into with a lot of detail was the world title. I mean, we have Braun and Carmelo fight Pretty Deadly, and it was fun. Pretty Deadly's fun anyway.
They're so fun.
But I'm kind of...
They're the host of Stand and Deliver.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm at the point where I am with Bianca. I don't have anything against Braun Breaker, but I'm kind of done with him being champ.
Yeah.
Plus, I've been saying since, December, January, that Carmelo Hayes was going to take the title off of him at Stand and Deliver.
I just... And I get that there are people that love Braun Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
He does nothing for me.
Yeah.
I don't find his wrestling that entertaining. I don't find his promos that entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about him really screams entertaining to me. But that's just my preference. But I could see why people would like him.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm just bored.
Yeah.
And I'm not even that big a fan of Carmelo Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
I like Trick Williams more.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just because Trick Williams won me over before Carmelo Hayes did. So.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yes. Were you ready to is anything else about...
Trick Williams isn't in 2K23.
Well, that's a load of horse shit.
I think he's in one of the DLCs, maybe.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah, right now in the My Rise thing, he's teamed up with it's Carmelo Hayes, MVP, and Omos as the new Hurt Business.
Oh, okay.
Which honestly, I feel like if that happened in real life would be a step down for Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway, though, anything else you want to talk about NXT or anything WWE before we move on to AEW?
No. WWE again had a solid week. Excited for Mania, excited for Stand and Deliver, and I think next week's going to be really fun as well because it is WrestleMania.
I definitely picked SmackDown as my show of the week.
Yeah, I think I have to agree because it flew by last night.
It did.
It flew by. But yeah, good job WWE this week. Keep it up. All right, so AEW this week, we don't have Rampage, so this conversation probably won't take very long. No. But the show started off with an angle right away.
This is my second favorite show of the week, was Dynamite.
Yeah, Dynamite also flew by this week.
Yeah.
But we started with the Young Bucks being taken away in an ambulance.
They said they were brutally attacked, but they weren't sure who did it.
Yeah, but then by the end of the night, Excalibur and Taz were both talking like it was Blackpool Combat Club. Yeah. I think there's still a chance it could be Dark Order.
He's convinced it's Dark Order.
I'm not convinced. I still think Blackpool Combat Club is more likely, but I wouldn't be as surprised if it was Dark Order.
Yeah. Well, it was, but you kind of missed out on something. Mm-hmm. Hangman Page went with one of the Bucks. Mm-hmm. Kenny Omega stayed behind. Yeah. Because Don Callis told him he had to because he had a match.
Yeah. Don Callis did some work in this show. So, so Kenny, they built this little angle in where Kenny's got to face Vikingo in this match. Elio Vikingo. But Kenny's got the Young Bucks on his mind, so it added that extra wrinkle to that dream match. I appreciate that we did that.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that match later because, oh boy.
Yeah.
World title picture, we'll start there. Not much really happened. The only one from last week that had a match this week was Darby. And it was a fun opener. It was Kip Sabian and the Butcher and the Blade against Darby, Sting, and Orange Cassidy. Sting is doing great.
He imitated Orange Cassidy, and it was so funny.
It was even funny. I love how Sting even took it as far as when Sting does the chest pound, he literally did it like this.
And it was funny because Orange Cassidy was on their team, and Orange Cassidy, his gimmick is lazy. Mm-hmm. He's a millennial, I feel like is his gimmick.
Yeah.
And he literally just put like OC on his face.
Yeah.
Because Sting and Darby Allin, their faces painted up, and he just put OC on his face. I thought that was funny.
It was a fun trio. The only gripe I have, and it's a small one, is Sting got the pin, which is fine. Sting's undefeated in AEW. That makes sense. But if you're building Darby for a world title match, I think Darby should have got the pin.
I agree. I feel like it should have been Darby just because just the week before you had him cut this amazing promo talking about he won that title, and then he didn't even get the win. But
I do like what they did instead. Because instead of Darby celebrating with the team like Sting and Orange Cassidy were celebrating, and Darby Allin was just fixated on the Double or Nothing banner. Like, he was like, I need to get there.
I didn't even notice that.
Excalibur even pointed it out. So that was pretty much, because we didn't see Sammy this week. No. We didn't see Jungle Boy. And we got a recap of last week's segment, which is really fun. Go watch it.
Rebar Mitzvah.
Yeah, the Rebar Mitzvah. There you go. MJF did cut a promo, though, where he was, of course, angry. Because I think MJF's two emotions are smug and angry. But, I mean, it's validated because he was embarrassed. So I'm interested to see what MJF does moving forward. He was telling everybody, like, if you want to face me, you got to get to be number one contenders. It's the same story that MJF told with Danielson, so I hope we do something a little different.
Yeah.
But I hope whatever we do ends, because I think now it's been teased, I think that four-way has to happen. It has to.
Yeah.
A Double or Nothing, it has to. Plus, AEW title's not defended in multi-man matches very often. It's usually one-on-ones.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a fun new direction for the title. And plus, you could knock out a lot of contenders, bang, 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 right there. I couldn't even get the 3 snaps in.
I know.
I better with this hand. Bang, bang, bang. There, see? So that's the world title picture. The international title picture, Orange Cassidy was involved. Did they even build a match for next week? I'm sure something will be built on Rampage. It's usually what happens.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
The TNT title. So what do you think of QTV and Powerhouse Hobbs together? What's your thoughts on that? I see very mixed reactions.
I like QTV, but I don't know how they fit together.
That's the comments I was seeing this morning, as people said QTV is fun. Powerhouse Hobbs is fun. But they don't know if they go together.
And I really like, because I get glimpses of RJ City and QTV. And I love RJ City.
Yeah. But what I've seen is there's a theory out there that QT Marshall is paired with Powerhouse Hobbs because they want Powerhouse Hobbs to get booed, and having QT Marshall on your side is a good way to do that.
I mean, that's a surefire way to do that.
Yeah, QT Marshall's great at getting heat.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know if it works for Powerhouse Hobbs, but I'm entertained by QTV.
What happened to the Book of Hobbs? We only got a couple
chapters. They
chapters.
always reference it. Like, QT Marshall, when he starts the QTV segments, he says, okay, what footage do we have for the next chapter of the Book of Hobbs?
Oh, well, I don't know. It's like, just weird.
So it's interesting because what it is, if you think about it, Hobbs got a book, and he's been writing a book, okay?
Yeah.
And QTV is kind of securing the movie and TV rights because they're talking about the next chapter in the Book of Hobbs. Hobbs is writing the book. QT and QTV are showing the book, like as a TV, like a documentary.
How? They're just showing embarrassing things happening. How is that the Book of Hobbs?
Because each Book of Hobbs, or each chapter in the Book of Hobbs is Hobbs destroying someone else.
No, well, I thought the Book of Hobbs was talking about his past and why he was the way he was. That's how it started out.
That's how it started. But then, like, you remember that started with video segments as well. We may find out that those video segments were put together by QTV. Who knows?
Maybe. I feel like you're putting a lot of stock in that, but maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I'm just trying to find something to make it work.
Well, I just think that it's AEW's been struggling with the storytelling, so I wouldn't be surprised if Book of Hobbs just kind of disappeared. But yeah. We had FTR come out.
Yeah, we're building to them.
The Kingdom attacked Top. So it was the Top Flight had a match against the Guns, and then Top Flight came out, or the Kingdom came out and attacked Top Flight because they have that feud on Ring of Honor. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
because I know that the Kingdom's on Ring of Honor.
Yeah, both those teams are in the Reach for the Sky ladder match.
Okay. But yeah, so that's how the Guns retained though, because Top Flight was giving it to them.
Yeah, well, Top Flight continues to have good showings. Top Flight will. They'll be at the top one day.
Yeah.
I'm confident they'll get there.
But yeah, so FTR came out though, and they were just like.
But FTR challenged the Guns, and the Guns didn't want it. They said there's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
So Dax threw out the idea that if FTR loses, they will leave AEW, which feeds perfectly into this contract drama that's going on.
That terrifies me because I mean, I could see AEW making that a story, like for them to be written off AEW to go back to WWE.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, Dax has been teasing a lot of stuff on social media, and it's really turned a lot of people off. That he keeps kind of like playing both sides. Like, oh, yeah, our contract's up soon. It'd be great to go back to WWE, but we don't want to go there. But it would be fun to go back. Like, so they're kind of playing.
Why does that upset people? Other wrestlers do that all the time.
I don't know. I think it's just the way that Dax does it. I think it's under people's skin. I don't really know. I haven't followed a lot of it. I know he's said things because people post like on the threads what he's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2023 wrestling. Like, social media is how you build most of this stuff.
Right, like are they just mad because he's talking about it on social media?
There's a lot of people that find it exhausting whenever people are like, oh, I'll go here. Like, it's the same reactions to MJF's
I would much
War
rather
2024.
Wrestlers have this kind of outlet than go back to them all doing drugs.
And hating each other.
Yeah, I'd much rather it be this kind of environment for them because it's mental health wise, that was a terrible time to be a wrestler, I feel like.
I don't think it's going to end up being an issue because I think FTR is going to beat the Guns anyway.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I think the Guns were a way to get the titles off the Acclaimed and onto FTR without having the crowd not be behind FTR and the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
Like they were the true definition of a transitional champion.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is fine, but I don't think this is the Guns' last tag title reign. And I get a lot of enjoyment out of the Guns. I don't know if it's because we met them in person, but I enjoyed them even before that.
I know. I liked them because they were just little shit heels.
They are. They serve their purpose perfectly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. They're guys that are easy to boo. They're obnoxious. They both have punchable faces. But, like, in reality, they're both really nice guys. But
yes.
So, what else do you have? We witnessed a murder.
Yes, we had Stokely Hathaway, and he had the match against Hook, and I just love how Stokely Hathaway is so good at telling stories without actually like talking, like telling the story with like his facial expressions, his mannerisms. Like, he's so good at it.
Stokely has some of the best facial expressions.
He does. He does.
He does. And what was it? When he was going into the ring, he quoted something, and he was like, "That's Tupac." Like, but I can't remember what he said.
I don't remember what he said, but yeah.
But, Hook murdered him. Stokely's only offense he got in was a fire extinguisher shot, which I always pop for the fire extinguisher because I think it's a hilarious spot.
Yeah.
But, like, Stokely got, like, slammed through a guardrail, and then Hook ended up putting him to sleep to beat him. And it was funny
Stokely was murdered.
Because, like, I love... This little detail of the story killed me. So, the match has been billed this whole time as a no disqualification match. And the Firm was banned from ringside. So we kept cutting back to the Firm backstage watching Stokely get killed. And Hook grabbed the guardrail out of the ring, or out from under the ring, and threw it in the ring. It's a no DQ match. It's been advertised as such. And Ethan Page yells, "Hardcore! We didn't practice hardcore!" I was like, why not? And then it's like, oh yeah, Matt Hardy led the training.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Extreme didn't teach anything about Extreme. But
the way I kind of feel like Matt Hardy was just setting Stokely up for failure. Though.
Oh, of course. And I love that Matt is getting in good with Ethan Page now, so Ethan Page isn't seeing it.
Yes.
It's like, that's fun. Like, is it main event level story? No. But it's fun as hell.
It is. And it gets Ethan Page on our TV more.
Yeah, and Ethan Page is just funny anyway.
Yes.
So yeah,
he's so damn nice.
Yeah, but that was funny. That was fun to watch Stokely get his comeuppance.
Yes.
Pretty quickly. Now I'm ready for Hook. I'm ready for Hook to move on to a real feud with somebody that presents a challenge.
Yeah, then enough with they're kind of Jade Cargilling Hook here. So
yeah. So I'm ready for Hook to have a real feud that's going to challenge him and see where that goes. And I think there's a couple good options out there. Honestly, I think a great feud for Hook might be Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah, because he's bigger and...
And Powerhouse Hobbs has been fighting smaller people because on Rampage tonight he's going to fight Penta. I'm excited for that.
Oh, that'd be good, yeah.
Yeah. He fought Phoenix last week and it was good.
Yeah. Well, we had Adam Cole come out. He was talking about how he was so excited to be back and for March 29th.
Yeah, it's this Wednesday.
Yes, he was just super excited for that. And then Daniel Garcia interrupts him.
Yes. Adam Cole's like, maybe you should be my opponent.
Yeah.
So,
And Daniel Garcia, though, at one point in time, let's not forget, he started to say he was the best professional wrestler.
Yeah,
and he stopped himself.
And the crowd reacted perfectly. Everybody's like, oh.
Yeah, because he's not a professional wrestler. He's a sports entertainer.
See what happens? Jericho wasn't on
Do it.
Do what?
Sports entertainer.
What?
Do the sports entertainer.
Oh, sports entertainer.
Yes.
That. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know what you meant because you just looked at me. You were like, do the sports entertainer. Do the sports entertainer. I'm like, what are you talking about? I think Garcia was the only member of JAS on Dynamite this week.
Oh, maybe.
Because Jericho wasn't there. Hager's wrestling. Hager's wrestling somebody on Rampage.
I don't remember who though.
I can't eat. Oh, is it somebody from House of Black? Is Brody King?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, I think that was the only representation that Jericho had because Sammy wasn't there. Menard and Parker weren't there. Yeah, no Tay, no Anna Jay. I think that's it.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be a fun match. I thought Adam Cole might fight somebody a little like more main event, but I think Daniel Garcia is a good start.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good match.
Daniel Garcia is a good person.
No, I'm not saying that Daniel Garcia is not worthy of that.
Yeah.
But I thought the way they were building it, I thought he was going to face like I don't know. I guess I don't have a better option. Yeah, that's true. Thanks for using my words against me there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the match will be fine. I think I expected somebody more at the main event level, like
JAS is on every week.
That's true. So yeah, it's fine. Forget what I said. It's fine. I'm excited for it.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of factions at the main event level, Blackpool Combat Club.
They were just attacking Stu Grayson, man. This is first week back.
Yeah,
he's already getting beat up backstage.
I totally forgot how great Stu Grayson is. Like Stu Grayson, I apologize because you're amazing.
All that I think of when I think Stu Grayson though is Angry Stu.
Oh,
on Evil Uno's vlogs, yes.
Yeah. So we had Stu Grayson fighting Moxley. It was a really good match. It was really, really good. But the Blackpool Combat Club definitely went after Grayson after Moxley won the match, which I don't think anybody was surprised by. Moxley wins a lot.
Yeah.
But then they beat him down, and then they just walked away.
Yeah.
Healing it up. I'm here for a heel Blackpool Combat Club, and I keep saying it. Lead it to Danielson Moxley Part 2.
Yeah.
Lead it there. Have Danielson come back from the wilderness and be like, what has happened to this group?
He's with his family in the wilderness. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. It's Bryan Danielson and Brie Bella, so.
Yeah. Like, maybe say something to the effect of, like, maybe Blackpool Combat Club starts using more weapons and using more extreme tactics, and Danielson comes back and he's like, when I was in Blackpool Combat Club, we didn't need weapons. We were weapons, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I could see, Bryan Danielson can say that a lot better than I can.
Yes.
But yeah, that covers Blackpool Combat Clubs. They're definitely going heel. I'm interested to see where that goes.
Well, we had the main event match.
The main event. So the main event was a really good story framed around an excellent match.
Yes, the match was amazing. Kenny Omega versus
El Hijo de Vikingo.
Yes.
And Vikingo can freaking go, let me tell y'all. If you haven't checked out Vikingo, check him out.
It was such a good match. That dude is
special.
Yes.
He is special.
It was amazing.
The spot I remember is Kenny Omega was on a table and El Hijo de Vikingo springboards off the top rope, hits a freaking 630 through the table, and how he doesn't crack himself on the ring or how he doesn't miss Kenny. That dude is special.
Yes.
But I'm not even going to recap the match because I would be doing it a disservice. Just go check it out. It's an amazing match.
Exactly, yes.
But what happened after the match is the most interesting thing.
So Blackpool Combat Club, they attack Kenny.
Yep, they're back.
And then they said like that at this point they're like they believe there's a Blackpool Combat Club that hurt the Young Bucks. The ambulance comes tearing back.
Yeah.
And I was like, Chris was like, who is that? Who is? And I was like, that's Hangman.
Yeah.
That's Hangman coming back.
Yeah.
And it was. He like stole the ambulance.
I just love the thought process of like Hangman in the emergency room with the Bucks, and Dynamite's on TV for some reason, and he looks up, he sees the Blackpool Combat Club come out, and Hangman's just like, oh hell no, and he just runs and takes an aim like Grand Theft Auto style.
Well, so he had a weapon. He had wood with nails in it, and he came out to the ring, and.
What's funny about that is when Hangman came out with that, I feel like Jon Moxley's first thought was, "Oh, I can't wait to get hit with that." Like
probably, but they all kind of like left though, except for Don Callis, who was in the room with Kenny Omega, and Don Callis, that mofo pretended that Hangman Adam Page hit him with the board, which then when Kenny Omega turned around to look at what was going on, he thought that Hangman attacked his beloved Don Callis.
He was just like, what's your problem? What's wrong with you? Like,
so Don Callis does not want the gang to get back together.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Don Callis' ulterior motives end up being.
Yeah. And then on being the Elite, there's also some storytelling because Matt Jackson.
Darker haired one?
Yes.
That's Matt.
Well, I know. I couldn't remember which one did it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm pretty sure it was Matt Jackson that texted the gang, and he was talking about how he wanted the gang to get back together. The gang being him, his brother Nick, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, it was like a group chat, right?
Yes. And everybody responded back like happy, except for Kenny Omega, who just left the group chat. So
I think the Hangman Kenny business is not done.
Yeah, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Especially if we're going to have that story time with the Bucks kind of being like, well, crap, who do we choose this time?
Yeah.
So
it's going to be like they're going to tell the story that they tried to tell before Brawl Out.
Oh, is that whenever all the drama went down?
Yeah, because remember Dark Order was in the finals of that trios match, and they were teasing something there, and then Brawl Out happened, and then everybody went away.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're coming back to that, which is interesting because I want to see where that was going.
I know, I'm happy for this.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was.
And the fact that the Blackpool Combat Club is also kind of milling around just adds to it. Like this story is really interesting because there's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
And you have the animosity with the Elite. The Bucks need to pick a friend. The Blackpool Combat Club's just wrecking everyone in sight because they don't give a shit. I'm really enjoying.
You have the Dark Order in there as well.
Yes, the Dark Order.
Because the Dark Order is. You can kind of tell that Hangman Adam Page is kind of ready to move on from them. But the Dark Order keeps trying to bring him back in. Yeah,
and Dark Order continues to have a problem with Blackpool Combat Club.
And Dark Order continues to just lose, and that's not really Hangman's style.
Yeah, so there's so many moving parts. This is a really fun story with a lot of complex pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see how all those pieces play a part.
Yes, I just hope that a piece doesn't get forgotten. And all the moving pieces that they're putting together here. I
feel like with all this going on, we're eventually going to get back around to Kenny and Moxley again. Which Kenny's the one that took there's so many pieces here because Kenny took the title off Moxley, so Moxley's got a problem with Kenny. Hangman took the title off Kenny, so Kenny's got a problem. Hangman had a built-in problem with there's so many pieces.
Yeah.
Like, yes, AEW can struggle with storytelling at times, but there's a lot of pieces.
Well, I was going to say, they have a lot of pieces now to make a good story.
Yeah, as long as people aren't fighting backstage and getting suspended, they can tell their stories.
Well, don't bring cancers back into the locker room.
Yeah.
Not me. I never said that. That was wrestlers that said that, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't. There's been a couple, right?
Yeah.
For real. It wasn't me that came up with that.
and I do think CM Punk will be back. I
do too.
I think enough has blown over that he'll be back. But I think when he comes back, he's going to be a mega heel. So if you want to boo that he's back, you'll be able to boo him.
I probably just won't give any reaction. That'll be me.
But
because wrestlers want reaction. I don't want to give them any reaction.
What if CM Punk came out and issued like an apology and said like, I'm sorry about what happened. I lost my head. Like,
but it's not even that. That's not the reason why. I've never liked CM Punk.
Yeah.
So let's not get it twisted that it's like, it's not just that. I've never liked him. I've always thought he was an asshole. So you apologize to him for one thing. what about all the other shit that you've done? So I wouldn't care, and I just wouldn't give him a reaction. That's fine. He can have his job back. I might leave the room anytime he's on TV, but
I see your point that you feel like he's always been an asshole, but at the same time, like, I kind of wonder, because all those reports are from other people, but like, I just can't see like somebody as nice as Danhausen being friends with somebody that was a jerk like that.
The fact that multiple wrestlers, though, have called him things like being a cancer, and the fact that he's gotten into so many feuds backstage, you can't tell me he's not.
Okay, fair enough.
And just because Danhausen doesn't think that, he's a wrestler. There's a difference between being a wrestler and a wrestling fan. Like, he's going to respect people differently. Like, well, he should respect them differently. Obviously, he doesn't respect everybody. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying people shouldn't be happy for him. Good for you if you want him to come back. Good for you. Me, I would just rather not see him.
I would be fine with him coming back, but I don't think he should be around the title picture anymore.
I just, my fear is that if he comes back, the Bucks and Kenny are going to go. And you can't have AEW without the Bucks and Kenny.
You can't take the elite out of all elite wrestling.
No. So that's my fear. Like, if they put it all behind them, that's great. But if it's just Tony Khan being a stan again, and putting his obsession over his talent, I have a problem with that. I mean, and I don't, obviously, I'm never going to know the ins and outs, but my opinion is, I don't like him. I will never give him a reaction. I will never give him anything, meaning CM Punk. People can like him. That's great. But I will never like him.
Okay.
And I will never tolerate watching him.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough. So on that note, I think that wraps up this week.
You always bring out heel Susan.
But AEW is heading to Double or Nothing. It's still a couple months away. But it definitely seems like there's some good pieces in place. I'm interested to see when the matches start forming what we're going to get. I do think we're going to get that Fatal 4-Way. I am thinking that this might also be the pay-per-view where Orange Cassidy drops his title.
At least it wasn't to Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
I was worried.
Wait a minute. We didn't even talk about any women's stuff in AEW this week.
What happened with the women, honestly? I didn't know anything.
Sky Blue wrestled Tony Storm. Riho came out with a pipe again.
Yeah, it's just the same stuff they've been doing, though.
But I feel like we're gonna build into this. Like, I feel like this should. Honestly, I feel like this story should be built in a way that it at some point might even take over the show.
It should. I don't know if they're going to necessarily do that, but it should, because it has the potential to.
Yeah, this has the potential. The women's story has the potential to be, if it's built well enough, it could be all-out war.
Yeah.
But you've got to give the women more time. You got to give them more than 10 minutes right before the main event. You gotta
and everybody knows that's like the crappy spot to be in wrestling.
Yeah.
It's the spot where you literally, your only time is what's hasn't been used by the other people ahead of you.
Yeah.
Which is usually what the women get.
Hopefully with this rumored Saturday show coming about, which I don't know how the hell we'll work that in.
We're just not.
But
simple as that. I can't handle more.
But hopefully that gives them a chance to maybe tell a little bit more as well. Because you got the Jade Taya Valkyrie stuff, which is pretty much being told on Rampage right now. Which, I don't know, it's funny that the TBS title is being promoted more on TNT, but it's the same company.
I'm happy for this, though, because I love Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah, Jade Cargill needs a real feud.
She does.
And Taya will do that. I still think Tony Khan's holding off to feed Jade to Chris Statlander. But I'm not sure what Statlander... I know she's been backstage, but I don't know what her status is medically.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know either. But well, that's going to do it for this week. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. There's a lot of good stuff this week. A lot of really fun stuff. WWE's cooking full bore going into WrestleMania.
Which is next weekend.
Yeah. Even the new game is super fun. So WWE's literally clicking in every department.
Yeah.
And with Vince gone, even HR is cooking a little bit. But anyway, we'll be back next Saturday. So next Saturday, we will do our weekly recap. We will also be doing our predictions for WrestleMania, where the prediction title will be back on the line. And then we will be doing live streams for WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. Yes. So we are trying to get the bugs worked out on that because we want to stream it on YouTube. When we streamed Revolution on Twitch, it went fine.
But it like crashed a few times.
Yeah, it crashed on us a little bit. So I'd like to get something a little more reliable like YouTube. But we'll try to get the kinks worked out. We've got all week to try to get it figured out. I've got a couple people I can ask that can help out with helping us find those answers. So you've got that coming to you. Super Card of Honor is on Friday. I don't know what we're going to do about Super Card of Honor.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Because it starts early.
Yeah, we're working when it starts.
Yeah,
so it may just not get covered.
Yeah, it might not.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not. So we have that going on. We have some toy news. So next month we will be going to our editor AJ will be going with us as well. We're going to go to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash up in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Where are we going?
Yeah, which we need to book our hotel because that trip's like 3 weeks away. Yeah, we'll get there. But after that, for our anniversary, we are going to Lexington, Kentucky, and we're going to hit up Toy Vomit. So what we're hoping to do there is we're hoping to maybe get a little bit of video for you, some pictures while we're toy hunting. Of course, we'll share the haul that we bring back from Toy Vomit. So we have toy stuff coming up finally, so we can finally start to put the figures in the Figures and Flippy Shit Wrestling podcast. But until next Saturday, enjoy the wrestling that's on. It's a great time to be a fan. There's a lot of good wrestling out there. Go check it out. Go check out as much of it as you can. Match, you already said, SmackDown Show of the Week, Match of the Week, Kenny Vikingo. Yes. Go check it out now. Go leave this video and go watch it.
Yeah.
But until next Saturday, always remember.
Don't forget to like and subscribe though first before you go.
Like, subscribe, and comment.
Yes.
Interact. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what we're doing wrong. But other than that, don't forget what do I always say?
Wrestling is a community.
Yes. So respect each other. Respect the wrestlers. Stop stalking them at airports. Rhea Ripley is correct. Leave her alone. And we will talk to you guys.
Just like Britney Spears.
Yeah. But we will talk to you guys next week. So happy wrestling.
Later.